All right. Good morning, Todd.
Morning, Ethan.
Hey, so you've agreed to give a little video explanation of the ThermalGlider for people back at Rutgers and the interested public. So, can you explain how a ThermalGlider works?
Okay. Well, let's start on the surface. Being on the surface, the air bladder would be inflated, and also the buoyancy bladder would be inflated with oil. Then, when we want to dive, we spin this valve over here, and that allows the oil from the external bladder to flow up through a series of tubes into the forward bladder. That mass change allows the glider to pitch down and get it headed to dive. Once it starts diving, it runs into colder water around 700 meters is where it turns to about 10 C, and that's when the thermal engine starts to freeze. The thermal engine is a high pressure aluminum tube filled with wax, and inside the tube is a rubber Tygon tubing. So as the wax freezes, it shrinks and it sucks oil into that Tygon tubing, which runs the length of this thermal engine. Then it gets to its inflection point, the valve turns and empties out the accumulator into the external oil bladder, and it starts to come up. Now that it's coming up, it gets past the 10 C mark at 700 meters, and the wax starts to warm up. And as it warms up, it expands and it crunches down on that Tygon tubing inside the engine, and forcing that oil out under high pressure, charging the accumulator, which is a nitrogen-backed piston accumulator. The nitrogen pressure is about 2,000 psi. So the oil is pushing a piston back against that spring of nitrogen, cocking the thermal engine for the next dive. How's that?
Very good. Thank you, Todd.